What's up, guys? This is the Honest Outlaw here, and today we are going to be doing something a little bit different. We are not going to be doing one review today, we are going to be doing 4 mini reviews. And the reason for that is because Olight is doing their biggest sale of the year. So they sent me a ton of lights to review, and I've been a little bit busy with the whole YouTube demonetizing my channel thing lately, and I've been trying to do a bunch of stuff, and I'm still trying to fit this in, so I'm a little bit late. They've been having a 4-day sale so far that's 40% off and a bunch of stuff, which we'll get to here in a second. They sent me all these lights to review, and I had a chance to do all the reviews, but I want to kind of condense it a little bit. That way you guys can choose if you want to partake in the sale or not. And if not, that's totally cool too. I just want to give you the opportunity, and the only way I can do that is to do all 4 lights in kind of one little mini review here. That way you have time to decide if you want them, and if you want to take advantage of the 40% off and click the link down below in the description, you can do that. I have done a fairly thorough review on each one of these lights, including drop tests, shooting, testing them at night. I was out in the rain with them one time, so I've been pretty thorough so far, but I can be more thorough too if that's what you want. And I'm particularly impressed with one of these lights, and we'll get to that one first. Before I do that, I do want to mention my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys very much. Because of you, this channel is alive. YouTube recently completely demonetized my channel, giving me no reason whatsoever, citing that I broke the partnership agreement. However, in discussion, later I found out that they're not really sure which part of it I broke. They just don't want to monetize me, and that's their choice. However, it is also your choice. You can help support me through Patreon, so I really appreciate you guys for that, helping me keep the dream alive. Thank you very much for that. Because of that, we do Patreon-only content. I'm going to be posting lots of different stuff on Patreon that you guys are not going to be able to see on this channel, because those guys go way out of their way to keep my channel up, and I appreciate that. However, there's still going to be reviews on this channel, so don't worry about that too much. Now back to the review. The first light we're going to get into here is the smallest light of the 4, and that is the one that I'm probably the most interested in because it is a weapon light, and I like shooting. So I put it on my Glock 34, and as you can see there, it's originally designed to be more on an EDC light, and I do wish it was a little bit closer. As you can see here, I wanted to mention that it mounts with the same QD system that Olight is accustomed to, and it works very well, and it's a really easy, very solid mounting system. And oh yeah, the name is the PL Mini 2 Valkyrie. So I've reviewed the previous version of this, and I really liked it. And Olight's known for a couple of things. One, fairly quality products for sure, but they're also known for giving you a kind of innovative product for a really good price, and this is no exception. We'll pop it on my Beretta here because it's color matched, and I know you guys are into that. So you can see here that the Beretta actually has the Picatinny rail further back, so it actually looks a little bit more natural on this gun than it does on the 34. And in all fairness, this is an EDC light, so it's probably not meant for these full-size guns, although I like shooting full-size guns, so that's what I tested it on, and it did a fairly good job. The buttons are only straight down push, and you can see it's fairly ergonomic, and it's a little bit iffy on the QD mount between the Beretta and the Glock, because the Glock has a thinner mounting system because it doesn't have a standard Picatinny rail. However, Olight gives you this little adjustment thing here, so if you want to adjust it with a screwdriver, you can tighten it or loosen it to fit any rail, which I'm a pretty big fan of. I like the switches a lot, I like the brightness, and I really love the overall size and weight. Alright, this is the PL2 Valkyrie. So it's got the same basic footprint as the Surefire XC1, which is a light I'm pretty familiar with, and kind of the Inforce APL-C. So it's a dedicated concealed carry type of light, kind of an EDC type of light. It's about 2 inches long. Like I said, it doesn't take up any more footprint than the actual trigger guard does. It's not going to be any longer than something like a Glock 19, or maybe even something less than that, like a Taurus G2C. So it doesn't take up much footprint at all, and it only weighs about 2 ounces. However, even though it's a tiny little light, it has quite a bit of throw. I was able to hit targets at around 50 yards fairly easily, actually, with the brightness of this light. So throw is not going to be much of an issue. It's advertised at around 100 meters. I only tried it out at about 50. I think I actually maybe even hit one at 75. And it comes out at around 600 lumens, making it probably the most powerful light of its size. At 7 yards. Well, about 10 yards. Very bright little light for as tiny as it is. We're using the PL2 Valkyrie, this tiny little EDC light at about 20 yards. So at 20 yards, it's got a, not really a hot spot per se, but it's more of kind of a floodlight at 20 yards. So it's a good EDC light for all around.
You know what I'm thinking? This is a fine welcome for our new neighbors.
Oh God, that's funny.
Welcome to the neighborhood, neighbors.
All right, so now we got the PL2 Pro here. This tiny little EDC light. We'll see if we can hit something at 50. Wait for the smoke to clear. Trying to shoot through the smoke.
I see that.
Another cool thing that it does here, I have two of them actually. This is actually the one that I drop tested. I threw this up in the air a bunch of different times, dropped it on concrete 5 times, and finally kind of wonkied the switch a little bit here. However, it's not really a fair test because the trigger guard would have protected the switches in the way that it broke when I dropped it, but it still does work. So it does look a little wonky, but it still works just fine. Now, besides from being fairly durable, really lightweight, really powerful, it also has this magnetic charging system here that I really like from Olight. You just pop out your phone charger and you pop this into your phone charger or USB or your computer or whatever, and this light for me charged up in about an hour. And above all, the best thing that I really like about this light is you don't have to break the bank. See, I used to be such a huge Surefire guy, and honestly, for some of my really go-to stuff, I still have some Surefires just because I have them, so why not use them? And the X300 Ultra is still probably one of my all-time favorite lights. The problem with it is it's $200 to $300 depending on where you find it. This guy's on sale right now for I think $70. So I think there's a 20% off sale going on now for the next 2 days or so. I think this usually runs around $90, which still isn't a bad price. So if you want to wait and you don't want to buy it now, be my guest. But so far in the next 2 days, it's going to be 20% off, so it's around $70. And if you click the link below, it gives you, I think, another 10% off because I got an affiliate link down there, and it also helps out the channel. So that's pretty cool. But if you're looking for a good light for a reasonable price, I see no reason why not to buy this guy currently, simply because it's very small, very powerful, more durable than I would ever need. I mean, I really was throwing this light up like 20 feet in the air, and I did like 3 or 4 drops on concrete, maybe even 5 drops on concrete before I even wonkied the switch a little bit, and then it still works. So definitely durable enough for me. I don't imagine you're going to be taking your Beretta M9A3 and throwing it up 20 feet a bunch of times to see if you could break it, but if you do, it should still live through it, believe it or not. So the next light we're going to be reviewing is the Olight Seeker 2 Pro here. And this is kind of a tiny little EDC light that would be a great little thing to carry with you or put in your truck. I know this is the type of light I like to keep in my truck or my glove box or something like that for pretty much utility type tasks. You can see there it's got the triple bezel there, and it's got the squared off bezel a little bit if you need to hit somebody in the face, which is pretty nice. Comes in a couple different colors. This guy is black or tan. I got the tan one. They did send me this again. And I can list you off some specs here and then give you an idea of what I think of this light overall. So as you can see here, it's got the turbo mode, Olight's classic turbo mode, but we'll go through the modes real quick because it's got a bunch of different ones. You can see it's got moon, low, medium, high, and turbo. And the way you do that is you turn the light on like all Olights, and then you hold the button and it will cycle through the modes. You get to the highest mode here, which is extremely bright. You're obviously looking at around 1200 lumens. Then you can go turbo if you want to, or you can go strobe. All right, so that's high and that's turbo. So I had it on turbo to begin with. My bad, I was just testing this outside. So on turbo, you're looking at 3200 lumens. On high, you're looking at 1200 lumens. Very bright. At 100 yards, you can easily, visibly see everything, as you can see in the footage here. Seeker 2 here at 10 yards.
Super bright.
Yeah, it's pretty bright. We'll cycle through the modes here. So this is low, high. What was that? Something over there.
A frog.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, And then turbo mode. Because Olight always has to have a turbo mode. That is extremely bright.
It is extremely bright.
Alright, so now we have the seeker. Brightest setting. That's extremely bright also. You can see the entire range really easy. Seeker 2. 50 yards. Turbo mode. I'm really liking the Seeker too, as far as I think I'm going to take this guy on walks from now on when we go on night walks.
There you go.
This thing is super bright for the weight. This is one of those that I wasn't that interested in before, but I'm actually pretty interested in actual use. Seeker 2. It's kind of foggy out tonight, I just realized. That's why my shoes are all wet. Seeker 2 at 85 yards.
Yep, I can see it.
Now we did drop test this, and we did test it outside in the rain. So overall, I didn't dump it in a bucket of water, but it seems to be relatively water resistant. And we did throw this up 20 feet or so on the gravel, and we did drop it on the concrete. As you can see here, it's kind of all beat up. And that's what Olight actually looks like when you actually test the damn thing. It's got all metal construction, and it has quite a bit of different settings and lumens. If you're into that kind of thing, not to mention it's got this rubber padding, and it does have some finger grooves on it, so it does feel good when you're shining the flashlight, and it would make a pretty good impromptu weapon if you had to make a pretty quick set of brass knuckles real quick. So instead of using a roll of quarters or something like that, if you had to pop somebody in the face, let them know what's up, this would work pretty good for that as well, and it definitely is durable enough. And just like the previous Olight and the next ones I'm going to show you, you can use the magnetic charging system, which works really well. And the Seeker Pro here is on sale right now for 40% off for the next 2 days, which is pretty ridiculous. So if you're looking to get one of these, I would say now's the time. 20% off sales are pretty good, but 40% off is pretty ridiculous. And I know that I think everything on the website right now is 20% off for the next 2 days. So if you're looking to get an Olight at all, you don't even have to go through my link. If you want to, you can get an extra 10% off, but you can just pop over to the website and get it all for pretty cheap, since like I said, this is their biggest sale of the year. So this thing normally goes for around 140 bucks, and you're going to be able to get it for under 100 bucks with all the sales that they're having right now. So if you want to get a pretty legit EDC light, it's a pretty good bargain in my opinion, and it seems to be pretty durable, at least in my testing. Now we'll get into the Warrior X here. Pretty good for EDC, but you can also put a mount on it that they sent me that I didn't try, but I did put on the Javelot. It's the same mount, and they work pretty well. So you can mount this on your rifle if you want, and what this guy's really good at is it's only got 2 settings. Those 2 right there, and this guy's really good at throw. So instead of illuminating the entire yard like a lot of these did, this guy's got a very specific beam pattern, and it makes it a lot easier. Even at close range, you can actually aim with this because it's got such a tunneled throw that it kind of makes a good aiming point. So I wouldn't suggest that, but in a pinch, you could, if your optic was down and your iron sights were fucked or whatever it's going to be, you could actually do that. It's also got these sharp bezels here, so it'd be good for an EDC light. Again, you need to smack somebody in the face and show them what's up. It would work really well for that. This again also passed the durability test of the concrete and gravel drops, so that's pretty good, and I would really expect it with this because this is more of an EDC light. However, this is kind of a dedicated combat style light, so I would expect this to be hella strong. And so far, so good. It comes with a belt clip, and it does have some pretty impressive stats of its own with a max output of 2,000 lumens and a throw distance of 560 meters. And then the Warrior X right here. A lot different. It's got a lot longer throw. Not quite as good of a hot spot up close, but as you can see, if I go over those weeds, I can see about 100 yards. So we'll test this when we move back. It's kind of like the Javelot that I tested a while back. It doesn't look quite as impressive up close, but it just keeps going further and further and further back. Now this one has a hot spot. I actually really like that. Sometimes over the floodlights personally, especially for like a weapon light, because I really like, you can kind of aim with the light. Like if I had this attached to my rifle, I could pop it on that target, put it right in the middle, bang, bang, and it's probably going to go there even at 25 yards. And that is the Warrior. And that's kind of what I was talking about. how it's not very impressive up close, it seems like. It's how every target is easily visible. And you could still maybe even make a shot, you know, kind of based on the flashlight from here. Now, I didn't actually test to see if it would go 560 meters because my range was only 100 yards long, but I had no issue seeing the targets at 100 yards and could easily make shots with this. So if you're looking to put this on a rifle instead of like maybe a Surefire Scout Light or something like that, you would be pretty well served with this in my personal opinion. Definitely the best at distance. That's why I love lights like this. They don't look good up close, but their throw is so crazy.
Also, I feel so highly interested that each flashlight is so different.
Yeah, because they just all look like flashlights. With
yeah,
they all
it's really
product.
Interesting.
That's why like the Seeker is more of an EDC everyday type of light. It's got a whole bunch of modes. It can last a really long time. The Warrior is a dedicated weapon light. Like if you wanted to shoot something with a rifle, this is what you would want on there. Now this light is 5 inches long, so it doesn't take up too much rail space or too much space in the pocket, but it is a little bit on the large side. So this is more of a serious type EDC light, like if you're an LE guy, security guard, something like that. I could see myself carrying this if I'm going on night walks or something, but overall for an everyday flashlight, it's a little bit big, but it would be pretty nice to put this on a rifle because it is a lot smaller than that Javelot, and it does have more than enough throw and more than enough light for me personally, and it does weigh significantly less at only about 7 ounces. And as I said with the other light, this one is also 40% off. It's normally 140. You can get it for under $100, and if you click the link below, you can get another certain percentage off as well and help out the channel if you choose to. If not, that is cool too. But this is a pretty legit little light. This was one of those that doesn't look very cool up close, because like a light, if it has a lot of throw, it doesn't look super impressive up close like let's say that Seeker does. However, keep moving back and keep moving back and keep moving back, you still have that good hot spot for rifle fire. So I would say this is more of a dedicated rifle light for me personally if I was going to use it myself. And now we'll get into the giant light that they sent me, which is the Marauder here. This is the X7R Marauder. Now this guy, my wife actually liked way more than I did, and I guess she could see a really good purpose for it. She was talking about how if there was an intruder in the house and she had an EDC light that she wanted to use, this would be perfect, and it really would be, because it would really knock the crap out of you with light. This is probably the most powerful light I've ever reviewed, and it is in a fairly compact package, although it is a little bit hefty. Now the weight on this guy makes it over a pound, so it's 23 ounces, so about 1.5 pounds. So it's not something you want to put in your pocket all day, but it would be something if you carried in a pack or carried in your truck or something like that and used for specific purposes like spotlighting, search and rescue, EDC, home defense, something like that. It would really excel at that. If you're looking for the most light possible in a package you could carry with one hand, you're really looking at it right here. Now it's about 1.5 pounds. The length is only about 5 inches. That's why my wife was calling it the little chub, and that cracked me up quite a bit. It's got a few different modes on it here, and we'll go through them real fast. Same as any other Olight. You turn it on just like that, and then you cycle through the modes like this. Now you get to the brightest one, and you can throw on strobe if you want to as well. So this light is extremely bright. It illuminated my entire range at 100 yards, and you can see that right here. And then the Marauder,
aka Little Chub. That's disorienting.
There we go. For some reason I have a hard time double clicking things. I just want to click it 3 times.
Yeah.
And on Olight, clicking it 3 times is the strobe.
You also have trouble with iPhones.
I do.
Think so?
And then the Little Chub,
Oh.
which illuminates our entire property.
Basically, yeah.
And it's not even on turbo mode. Or maybe it is. It was on turbo mode.
Was it?
You can see that, can't you?
Yeah.
What do you think? We just abandon this whole YouTube thing and just start a rave?
My rave music was not very good there.
It's better than my rave music. I would have played George Strait.
You can see everything clearly. This is the most powerful one for sure.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Like this would be one that I would like for like if you think someone's burglarizing your home, you can see the entire property.
Yeah, you really, well, can you imagine?
No one can escape this
Can you
one.
imagine if you were 7 feet away from this? Like if they were at your door looking through your window? Like,
I blinded myself messing with it in the house. So.
Yeah, I know you did. That was really funny. Off the microwave. You know in horror movies, so they always like get up to the glass and make that stupid face?
Yeah.
Then you light them up with this and you dump some buckshot into them.
There you go.
Movie over. Roll
Way
credits.
to do it.
Now this guy has a max output of 12,000 lumens. And on the standard high mode, it's got 3,000 lumens, medium 1,000, low 500. And the run times for that are in accordance to the power levels, but the highest has somewhere between 3 and 120 minutes, whatever that means, and the lowest is 30 days. So basically run whatever power you want for whatever amount of battery that you want or whatever application you're using. Now this one doesn't have the standard charging port like the other one does. This one comes with its own, and it is actually right here in my pile of chargers. So you just plug this into the wall, and it's got this cool little charging port here that you can either have access to or not, depending on if you want to cover it up for, I would imagine, water or something, you know, you wouldn't want to get dirt in there or something like that. So it's kind of cool that it switches and closes like that. So overall, this light is obviously the most expensive because it's obviously the most powerful. It is right around $270. However, again, this light is also 40% off, so you want to get this bad boy for under 200 bucks. Do the math yourself. It's a pretty good bargain in my opinion. Now, this is the light we did not do the drop testing on. As you can see here, it looks clean as a baby's ass. And the reason we didn't do any drop tests on this was because my wife wouldn't let me. She wanted to keep this light for herself, and she wants to use this for her night walks and all that kind of stuff because she was really enthralled with this light. She was impressed by how powerful it was. So she said no drop tests on this one, but if you want to buy one and drop test it, let me know how it goes. I assume it would be just as durable as the other ones. However, personally for me, if I bought a $300 light, I'm not going to be smacking it on the concrete. The other ones I did because they're relatively cheap and inexpensive and could be replaced for this review fairly easily. However, this one is not, and as I said, this light is mine, so I will be keeping this one, and my wife will be using this. And if you want a light that will illuminate an entire football field, you can keep in your purse. This is a pretty good one for that. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please help out your local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.